Week 7 is up, ladies and gentlemen. It is time to talk through some of the top NFL plays of the week. So hopefully everybody had a great week 6. If you didn't, week 7 is a brand new week. Hopefully your NBA started off on fire this week. Let's start talking about the plays. And if you can click that thumbs up button, it would be much appreciated. All right, so before we hop into that, I brought it up under the NBA video for Saturday, and I will bring it up today under the NFL video as well. I got a Saturday special rolling. NBA and NFL has been hot. NBA 4-0 to start the year. NFL's been cruising lately. So, in a good mood, our annual price is normally $400 to cover all 3 sports for the entire season. All the videos, all the write-ups. It gets you all 3 sports. Buy it today. You get 1 full year, all 3 sports, and a $125 rebate coming your way. I will get it to you by day's end, if not within the hour. Website link is below. Subscribe to the station if you're new to it. Let's start with this Derrick Henry guy. I don't know if you guys are aware of who he is. I'm sure that you are. He is really good. Looked like a bust his first year or two. And then it all changed one day. And since then, he's unarguably the best running back in football. This guy's absolutely amazing. Cash game a lock. Number 1 running back in the game versus a bottom 5 run defense that has been pretty terrible all season long. This is a really good spot for Derrick Henry. The home team, you have to like that if you're a Titans fan, coming off a big win against Buffalo. I was obviously wrong about that game on Monday night. Take the L on that one, move into this week. I will absolutely put Derrick Henry as the first guy in my cash game roster this week because he seems like he's a lock for like a really good week. However, I will say I can get on board with the GPP pivot. And the reason why, 1, he's really expensive. Really expensive. You need a monster game to pay the salary off. 2, there's every possibility that a big offense like the Chiefs, and this is what I thought would happen last week. Obviously, I was wrong. I was totally wrong on this one. If the Chiefs get off early and get up a bunch of points, like who couldn't see the Chiefs being up 21-0 like that? And then Derrick Henry gets taken out of the game. That's where like your pivot to like an A.J. Brown could be really, really intriguing. So cash game lock. And if you believe in your heart of hearts this game is competitive or Tennessee wins, then you should probably play Derrick Henry. Because if this game's competitive, he's probably going to have a big game. However, in your heart of hearts, if you believe the Chiefs get up early, that's where the GPP fade can come in. You switch it up to an A.J. Brown or just, pivot off this game in general, or at least off of the Titan side of the ball. But for a cash game, this is the first guy I'm putting in my roster. Next up, RB2 for cash games, also a good look for GPP is going to be Henderson of the Los Angeles Rams, 6,600, taking on the Detroit Lions at home. He's chalk RB2 of the week. You're going to want him in your cash games, no doubt about it. I have less explanation of the GPP fade on him, though, because he is so much less expensive. He's also in a really good spot against the bad Lions team at home. You got the Matt Stafford revenge game, so they're going to score some points in this one, right? Like, I struggle to see the Rams with less than 4 touchdowns in this game, which means, in all likelihood, Henderson probably falls in the end zone at least once. His carries have gone up in 4 straight games. He's 15-plus in every game this year. The Rams are going to score. He gets the goal line carries. He gets the line share of the carries. He's viable in the passing game. He's as healthy as he has been. Henderson Jr. is a cash game lock and a guy that I will have in most of my lineups this week. I get it. He's good enough. I've faded him a couple times this year when I shouldn't have. I'm in. This guy is going to have like a minimum mediocre game probably right here with the opportunity for a really good one. Next up, third chalk before we pivot into a couple of GPP plays. Let's talk about cover boy for the week, Calvin Ridley. So he's chalk wide receiver 1, cash game lock. So cheap, so cheap, so cheap. Calvin Ridley is just flat out better than $6,600. He gets a pretty solid matchup with Miami, who's been atrocious this year. The Dolphins cornerbacks are playing like name recognition only this year. They're not playing well. He's very talented as Calvin Ridley. Probably going to be the highest owned receiver on the week. Got a week off to get healthy and get ready for it, put in a good game plan and everything like that. If you're playing cash games this week, I start with Henry, Henderson, and Calvin Ridley. Those 3 guys. That's the start of the build. Where we go from there, you want the rest of the cash game plays, memberships available through the website. All right, let's pivot over to some GPP plays. And I came up with this one this morning as we were doing our cash game video for who the locks of the week were. Kyle Pitts, tight end. So this is GPP only, not even a consideration for my cash game rosters. We have 3 good options at tight end this week for cash games. A lot of you know who they are. If you want the information, available through the website. This is a pivot off of Ridley, and that's Kyle Pitts, the young gun, one of the most highly touted tight ends to ever come out of college. He had his welcome to the NFL moment 2 weeks ago when the Atlanta Falcons were decimated at wide receiver. He was the focal point of the offense that game. He looked phenomenal while doing it. He's now had 2 weeks to get even better acclimated. I love this as a fade off of Calvin Ridley. He's expensive, kind of like $6K, right? $5,900. That's a lot for what, his production has been, with the exception of last week. He got into the end zone, coming into this week confident. And how do we know moving forward he's not the guy? Like, this guy is good, right? Like, it takes tight ends a little bit to get going. So it's not a shock that it took him, a month or something like that. That's a short learning curve for a tight end. But when you're this talented, it's not a surprise. He plays like a wide receiver half the time anyway. So why not him over Ridley? I think that's a really interesting GPP pivot at maybe a tenth of the ownership. All right. Last up, let's talk about a GPP wide receiver. That's going to be Darnell Mooney, the Chicago Bears. I could actually see running him in cash games too. There's just a couple other cheap receivers in this with a lot higher ownership in this kind of tier pricing that I'd be more likely to get to. So he's GPP preferable, but I'm not opposed to him in cash games. So this one's simple. You can't run on Tampa Bay. You can throw on Tampa Bay. The odds are that Chicago's very good defense might, make Tampa work, but Tampa's still going to score, right? Like, they're still going to put up points, which means that the Bears, who cannot run on Tampa Bay, down to their third running back, who I like, but still down to their third running back. Tampa's run defense is just so good. They're going to have to throw. So Fields is going to have to play like more of a traditional quarterback, which means that Darnell Mooney, who has some connection with Fields, has every opportunity to see potentially his highest targets of the season. And at only 4,600, I like this one a lot. He's not going to get enough love. Easy peasy, guys. I like this play. This is a guy who will be in some of my GPPs come Sunday. That is it. That is what I got for week 7. I appreciate you all watching. Click that thumbs up button. I've told you the deal about the annual memberships. Get that sale in today. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you soon.